Emotionally distant parenting is often criticized, but research shows that in some cases it may foster resilience and independence. A 2018 study published by Frontier in Psychology highlights show many of the different factors, like problem-solving skills or less emotionally parental involvement. Good afternoon, everybody, and my name is Jessica Cantrell, and I will be presenting how are young adults benefiting from emotionally distant parenting. How are emotionally distant parents in Generation X in the United States building positive characteristics in their children from 18 to 24 years old? Some of the positive characteristics I will be going through today are encouraging self-efficiency through limited emotional involvement, modeling emotional control and practicing, and finally installing a strong work ethic through high expectations. A study by Oscar F. Glacier explains that there are many different parenting styles for different generations. In Generation X, their most common parenting style is strict parenting, which is helicopter parenting. There are certain punishments that they use are verbal abuse, mental abuse, or psychological abuse. If you look at the chart right here, it shows the impact levels of parenting styles of a children's mental well-being. If you look at the top hand, right-hand corner, it will show in different various of colors, different emotions, from anxiety, self-esteem, independence, and stress. If you look at the bottom, it will show different parenting styles, from helicopter, authoritative, permissive, and neglectful. Helicopter and authoritative are one of the most worst, because they are showing in different ways how neglectful parenting is better than others. By showing impact levels from a scale 10 to 1, 10 means that they're having the most negative impact on a child's mental well-being, 1 meaning they are having a more positive impact on a child's mental well-being. Back to helicopter and authoritative, if you look at anxiety and stress, they're having the most negative impact on a child's mental well-being. Later in life, from especially 18 to 24 years old, they will be having stress and anxiety disorders that can affect them in their workplace or their college life. And especially they will not have any independence that will be able to live on their own and provide for themselves, and the same goes for self-esteem. But if you take a look at neglectful, they're not having any of those problems. They are having high independence where they are able to live on their own and support for themselves, and they're not having stress and anxiety disorders. And especially for self-esteem, they're able to encourage themselves to be able to do their best in everyday lives. By an unpublished journal, interviewed by Chrissy Laux, shows the results of her childhood affecting her now. Chrissy says that she wouldn't have changed her childhood in any other way because now she has a greater relationship with her mother than ever before. If you take a look, it will show you on the chart the comparison of emotionally drained parents versus non-drained parents. At the bottom, it will show the parenting aspects from clay modeling, which is setting groundbreaking rules that you're able to not be able to cross. Emotional control, able to have that emotional control and distance from your own child. Practice disabilities, be able to practice the discipline of providing. If I go back to the interview, I will tell you guys how. In the results of it, it will show that she believes that she benefited from her mother not coming to any of her softball games or any other school's events when growing up. She wouldn't have changed her childhood in any other way because now she has a husband, 2 kids, and a great career as a chef and waiter. If you look back at the chart, you will now see the affectionate level. In the interview by Chrissy Laux that is unpublished, it goes straight into this chart. Her mother was a non-drained parent. She was able to put her time and effort into her work without having that emotional connection with her. She was able to set boundaries by clay modeling, emotional control by setting that emotional distance from her, and practice disability by being able to say no when needing to. From the quote from the College Board stimulus from My Mother's House, we'll be showing Rachel Glossier. She says, "My questions and guesses are deemed to be impolite by my family. They receive the result of me not knowing you better because I was not born in Louisiana like my mother or her mother before that." And the list goes on. This is from a little girl in her home that was being physically abused. Not emotionally abused, but physically abused. This is a very different from emotionally abused children. As shown in the graph, you will see the difference between physically and mentally abused children. This is what a physically abused child feels like, that they practically should be living homeless or not living in a house at all, or an abandoned home without any of their family. They feel distrust, lonely, and abandoned. But this is not a same for emotionally distant children. They feel that they feel maybe not loved in many different ways, which is a counterpoint, but they feel that they have the sustainability, financial support, and mental capacity to be able to deal with their own issues. Therefore, emotionally distant parenting has made very large and positive impacts to the children from 18 to 24 years old, from encouraging self-efficiency through limited emotional involvement to installing strong work ethics through high work expectations, and finally modeling a limited control and practice B. This goes into Generation Z. We are the generation that is growing up from emotionally distant parents. We've guided to our success throughout high school and college is into our careers. Thank you so much and have a great day.
All right, Jess, I have two questions for you.
Yes.
What information did you need that you weren't able to find, and then how did you deal with that?
I weren't able to find a lot of information on the negative side of this because there's a lot of positives to emotionally distant parenting.
And what additional questions kind of popped up as you worked your way through everything?
Some of the additional questions I was having was definitely if this was a good topic, if I should be doing this or not, because it does have a lot of a lot of negatives behind it, because there's a lot of parents in the world that believe that this is a very bad way to parent, but I believe it's one of the best ways to parent.